What's new, Pokecrew? It's UturnCrobat here, and I'm bringing you a new little video. But before we get started, please make sure you RCS rate, comment, subscribe, because I want your feedback on these team builder type videos that I'm going to be doing right now. If you want me to do more, then please by all means let me know in the comment section. I don't really know if it's gonna go good because it's my first one ever, but we're gonna see what happens. So, I am bringing this team for my week 1 battle against Jerry Oak for the NPCC. As you can see, I'm bringing the Shinsuke, the Victini, the Cliffhanger Flagon, the Mousetrap, Bronzong, Skank, the Megalopony, Zolomon, the Zapdos, and Ariel, the Vaporeon there. So what I was thinking, when we were building this team, we wanted to build the team kind of around Victini, because Victini hits like a truck. And we figured, you know, Victini's going to put in a lot of work against our week 1 opponent's roster. It doesn't really matter who he is going to bring. Victini's going to run right through a lot of his mons. So we really needed to put Victini on the team. And having the blue flare, having Victini be special is going to help us out. Because he does have a Suicune. Suicune could be run physically defensive. And if he decides to bring a physically defensive Suicune for potentially physically hitting Victini, then that Suicune can basically just wall the Victini. So we wanted to kind of throw him off. So that's why we're running a special Victini. Now, Blue Flare can hit anyone. We really want Thunder on Victini because we really wanted the Thunder for the Suicune. If he did bring the physically defensive Suicune, Thunder is going to destroy that thing, and we should outspeed depending on what his speed set is, but we most likely will be outspeeding that Suicune, and we can hit another Thunder or even an Energy Ball. Now the Energy Ball is for a weakened Suicune, or even if he decides to bring the Quagsire. The Quagsire does not want to get hit with an Energy Ball from a special Victini. And we have a Psychic, you know, just for the Hitmontop if he decides to bring it. Psychic can really hit a lot of his other mons as well, but if he decides to bring the Hitmontop, then we wanted Psychic there just for that reason, really. I mean, you know, Psychic can also hit Crobat as well. So if he decided to bring one of those two, we wanted some coverage. So having the Thunder, the Psychic, and the Energy Ball helps out a lot. And the special Blue Flare can just run right through a lot of his teams, a lot of his mons. So we really just wanted, you know, right here, 252 in special attack and 252 in speed, because we wanted to make sure that Victini was quite possibly the fastest thing that, you know, he's going to be going up against. Now, we weren't really sure what item to put on him. Now, Specs Victini would have been awesome, but you would have been locked in. Having Life Orb on Victini would be pretty awesome as well, but you get that recoil. So we weren't really sure what item to really give Victini. I mentioned, you know, Expert Belt would help us out a lot, because Expert Belt kind of, we can trick him in a sense, and he'll kind of think that we are locked into a move when we're really not, and we won't show that recoil that Life Orb gives off. So having the Expert Belt will help us out a lot, and so I'm just glad that we picked Shinsuke for this team. Shinsuke is going to put in a lot of work, I can already tell. I mean, look at that special attack. The special attack is gorgeous, I love it. But moving on to another mon that we are going to be bringing, we're going to bring Cliffhanger the Flagon. Now, the reason why we're going to bring Cliffhanger is because it's a great Scarfer. I mentioned in our draft analysis that Flagon is a great choice Scarfer. Now, that was one reason why we wanted to bring Flagon. That, and also because Flagon is part ground, and if he decides to bring the Heliolisk, then we can bring in Cliffhanger on a potential T-Bolt, but the problem is Heliolisk does get access to HP Ice, so, you know, you don't really want to switch Cliffhanger in on a Heliolisk. You don't really want to do that at all for that potential HP Ice. But if Heliolisk is gone, if all his other threatening mons are really gone, then we can bring Cliffhanger out and go for a little Flagon sweep, because we are to a Scarf. We are going to be outspeeding a lot of his other mons who aren't Scarfed. So that's a really good item to put on Flagon, I feel. And I really want Flagon to put in a lot of work for this week 1 battle against Jerry Oak, because I have all the hopes in the world that Flagon can put in the work. I'm just really hoping that we can see it come through. So we have Earthquake just for coverage, just for the Heliolisk, just for Earthquake hits anyone really, but we wanted Earthquake for Heliolisk and, you know, all the other mons that are really actually weak to Earthquake, and Outrage just hits anyone. It really does. If he doesn't bring anyone that resists, you know, Dragon, or if he doesn't bring anyone that can easily take a Dragon type move, then we can bring the Choice Scarf Flagon in and go for a Choice Scarf mini sweep with Outrage. Now, U-turn is obviously for initiative. If I wanted to start out the battle and just kind of scout what he's going to do and go for a Choice Scarf U-turn and see what he was going to do, I guess, then I could really do that. We pack Defog on this thing because if Flagon is weakened and if we still have rocks on our side, then I can just bring in Flagon and just go for that Choice Scarf Defog and get rid of the rocks on our side. Yeah, granted, it's going to get the rocks off on our opponent's side as well, but having rocks on our side is bad, so if we can get rid of those, it's going to help us out a lot in the long run, I feel. So hopefully we can do that. Now, we packed the EVs in attack and speed. Attack because we want the Outrage to hit hard, and obviously the Earthquake to hit hard as well. Now, for the speed, because we are going to be packing Choice Scarf on Flagon, we wanted Flagon to really outspeed his mons who aren't scarfed. So that, I feel like, is a good idea for us. Now, sorry about that. I should really be Xing out of Discord. I apologize. It's very unprofessional. But, as you saw, Discord is right there. But anyways, moving on. So, Earthquake, Outrage, U-turn, and Defog. I feel like Cliffhanger is going to put in a lot of work if I use it properly, which I really want to do. I've used Flagon before, but I've never used it as a Choice Scarfer. So I'm hoping that I play it smart, and I actually do what I'm supposed to do in this battle, and I can actually surprise him with a Choice Scarf Flagon. We'll see what happens. I have hopes that Flagon will put in the work, so we'll have to see. So moving on to Bronzong, the Mousetrap. Now, Mousetrap is for all of his special mons. We packed the EVs in HP and special defense because we really needed Mousetrap to take on his Heliolisk and even his Gardevoir, really. Because Bronzong packs that Gyro Ball for, well, really anyone, because we did not, as you can see, we did not give Mousetrap EVs in speed, simply because Gyro Ball hits like a truck if he's not invested in speed, which we didn't invest him in speed because we really want Gyro Ball to hit hard on anyone, really, who isn't resistant to steel. So, I'm happy that we went that route. Now, the thing is that I am really scared of that Heliolisk and that Gardevoir. I always will be until we're done with this battle. Let me actually do something real quick. It's kind of getting annoying and kind of very unprofessional. So I'm just going to go ahead and quit Discord and just X out of that. Sorry, guys. Sorry. But it's gone. Don't worry. So, yes, like I was saying, I am always going to be scared of Heliolisk and that Gardevoir. But we have Bronzong for that. Hopefully Bronzong could, not hopefully, because I know that he can take those really well. Because we have the Toxic if we really need to Toxic anyone. We have Toxic, I feel, mainly for the Suicune. Suicune could be the Crocoon, Sleep, Rest, Sleep Talk, whatever. But if we can hit a Toxic on that Suicune, so he's kind of forced to go for Rest, we could potentially just bring in Zolomon, as you're going to see here in a second, or we could bring in Shinsuke, because Shinsuke does know Thunder, and in a second you're going to see Zolomon. But I feel like having Toxic, it will help us out. Toxic it will hit anyone, it will, but that Suicune is a problem. It really is. So having Toxic on there, I feel mainly for the Suicune, it's going to help us out, because like I mentioned, it's going to force him to go for a rest, so we can kind of predict and go on about our business. So we have leftovers on Bronzong for obvious reasons, because he does need some sort of recovery. Bronzong does not get recover, he does not get wish, he does not get anything like that. But I'm going to kind of explain what our scenario is going to kind of look like once we reach Aerial. But we're going to move on to Skank, our Mega Lopunny. Now, okay. So Mega Lopunny is going to hit like a truck. But the problem is, yes, it knows Fake Out. Now, the problem with that is that I'm very scared of the Inner Focus Crobat that he might be bringing. He could be bringing Inner Focus for the Lopunny, and that Crobat could very well have either a choice band, or he could have the, or he could have the safety goggles for a potential stun sporing Whimsicott. I don't know what item Crobat's going to be holding. If he does bring Crobat, I'm hoping he brings the safety goggles for a potential Whimsicott. I'm hoping. But the problem is that I don't want to use a Fake Out on Crobat at all. Because if I use a Fake Out on Crobat, Crobat is not going to get flinched, and Crobat's going to annihilate Mega Lopunny with that Brave Bird. So I don't really want to do that. I'll be much more safer, much more happy going a Fake Out on any of his other Pokemon. That's what I really want to happen. So hopefully we can work around that. Now we have Ice Punch for Gliscor, we have Ice Punch for Crobat. Mainly for the Gliscor, because obviously we're going outspeed. I kind of want to surprise him with the Ice Punch on Lopunny. I am predicting him to bring Rocky Helmet. I am. He could potentially pack Rocky Helmet on Crobat. He could pack Rocky Helmet on Gliscor. I don't really know who he is going to pack the Rocky Helmet on, if he even does bring it. I kind of hope he doesn't, but I'm predicting him to bring it. Because he sees we have Mega Lopunny. He sees that we have a potential physical hitting Victini, so why wouldn't he bring the Rocky Helmet? That's one thing I have to kind of look out for, but, you know, I'd much rather just hit a Drain Punch on the Jirachi. It is neutral, so it's still gonna hurt a tad, and the return and Fake Out are just for mainly anyone, because anyone's gonna get hurt with those. And the Ice Punch, like I mentioned, is for Crobat, Gliscor mainly, but hopefully he does not bring Rocky Helmet, because I don't really want to have to worry about that. But I feel like Skank is going to put in the finest of work during this Week 1 battle against Jerry Oak for the National Pokemon Competitive Conference. I feel like it's going to put in a lot of work. Now, we still have that Suicune to worry about. So moving on to that, we are bringing Zolomon, the Zapdos. And I have to first explain Zapdos' nickname, Zolomon. Hunter Zolomon from the Flash, that's Zapdos. There you go. So Zolomon is carrying that Life Orb, and as you can see, his hidden ability is static, and we are bringing that. Because if he's bringing a Crobat, if he's bringing any physical attacking Pokemon, then they're going to get hit with Zapdos, they're going to hit Zapdos, and hopefully we can get a static on that Crobat. Getting a static on that Crobat is going to be amazing. Getting a static on really anyone. Let's say he decides to bring a physically hitting Jirachi. Getting a static on Jirachi is going to help us out a lot as well. But we have Roost for the Life Orb Recoil. We have Thunderbolt for the Suicune. We have Hidden Power Grass, mainly for the Quagsire in case he does bring that. We have Heat Wave for Jirachi, and we have Heat Wave also for the Helioptile. The Helioptile, if he has dry skin, the Heat Wave is going to hurt, and we're just going to kill the Helioptile. So we have those moves for those Mons. I'm really excited to bring this hidden ability Zapdos. I'm really excited to use this. In the past, all you've seen is pressure on Zapdos, but bringing this static Zapdos, I hope, is going to throw Jerry Oak off. I'm hoping, because as far as I know, I haven't seen anyone use the hidden ability on Zapdos, so I'm hoping that it throws Jerry Oak off, and he's kind of caught off guard by this static here, and it paralyzes one of his Pokemon. I'm just hoping, I'm hoping. But the Life Orb is going to help a lot, because looking at that special attack, the Life Orb plus the EVs we have in special attack, the 248 in special attack, is going to hit hard. We have 248 in special attack, 4 in defense, because we want Zapdos to be able to live something. A potential Brave Bird really from a Crobat. We can hit a Heat Wave, we can hit Thunderbolt, mainly a Thunderbolt on the Crobat. And we have 252 in speed, so it can outspeed quite a lot of his Mons, barring the Scarfers, of course. Now, like I mentioned, packing the EVs in special attack and having the Life Orb is going to make Zapdos a powerhouse. It really will. Zapdos is really going to hit hard. Now, I'm glad we have Roost on Zapdos, because all the Life Orb recoil that we are going to take, we really needed some form of recovery. Having Roost on Zapdos is going to help. I feel like it's going to help. I'm very excited to use the hidden ability Zolomon. It's going to be awesome. I'm excited. I hope Solomon puts in a lot of work. It's Zapdos, so why wouldn't he put in a lot of work? But moving on, now we have Ariel, the Vaporeon. Now, as you can see from his EVs are 252 special, 252 HP, 252 special defense, and 4 in defense. Now, Vaporeon can really take any moves. We really wanted him to be able to take, you know, a Hyper Voice or a Thunderbolt from a Hyper Voice from Gardevoir, or a Thunderbolt from Heliolisk, from at least full. And then we could just roar somebody out, because we have Scald, Wish, Protect, and Roar. We really want a Roar for that Suicune, because Ariel can just block Suicune for days. So if Suicune wanted to use Rest, then we can just roar him out. If we really need to predict something, we can use Protect and just kind of scout. Now, we have Protect for Wish, obviously. We have Wish just for the, like I mentioned, the Mousetrap, the Bronzong, because Bronzong does not get any form of recovery. So if we can potentially pass a Wish off to Bronzong, or really any other Mons, then it's going to help us out in the long run and help us potentially pick up a win for this week. And I'm happy that we do have Wish. Scald is going to hurt anyone, but I do not want to use Scald on that Heliolisk. Heliolisk really wants us to use Scald for that dry skin, but we have the Water Absorb. So if Suicune wants to hit a Scald or Hydro Pump or whatever on my Shinsuke, I don't really know why I would have Shinsuke in front of a Suicune anyways, but we do have that Thunder for Suicune, so it might happen. But if that happens, we have Water Absorb on Ariel, so we can switch Ariel in on a Hydro Pump or Scald. So that will help us out a lot. And like I mentioned, having Roar is going to help us out, because we can roar out Suicune, we can roar out Crobat, we can roar out really anyone. We could potentially get hit with a Thunderbolt, Hyper Voice, whatever, live and roar somebody out. That's if we are in front of it, if we have a free safe switch in. So that's the only reason why we would be able to roar somebody out, is for that reason. We cannot switch in to a Heliolisk and expect to use a Roar, because Heliolisk is obviously going to outspeed Vaporeon. So that would be the end of days for Vaporeon if we switched it in onto a Heliolisk, but that's not going to happen at all. We really need a safe switch in for that reason if we want Vaporeon to come in on Heliolisk or even Gardevoir. So having that special defense is going to help, having the HP is going to help, and having the 4 in defense is going to help as well, because Vaporeon has good defense and a special defense, so having this wall of a Mon on our team for this week is going to help us out a lot. Now, looking at our team, the Ariel, the Zolomon there, I feel like we do have a good team against Jerry Oak. Now, we just have to use it properly, which I have all the faith in the world that I will do, because I know what I want to switch Zapdos in on. Zapdos can really switch in on anything. Zapdos can really switch in on, you know, Jirachi. We have Heat Wave for Jirachi. We have Statics for any of his physically hitting Mons. So we have, you know, that. Now, Zapdos can really switch in on, Jirachi. He can switch in on, well, let's take a look here. He has good defense and special defense. But this is really I feel like this is if we really need a safe switch in. He could potentially go into a Thunderbolt from a Heliolisk and hit a Heat Wave. That would be a good idea. That would be a good choice, a good thing to do. So hopefully we can do that. Now, I don't really want to switch Zapdos in on a potential Hyper Voice from Gardevoir, but if I need to, then I'm definitely going to be going to Mousetrap. Mousetrap can be switched in on a Hyper Voice and a Thunderbolt. So, the only two mons I'm really worried about, the Gardevoir and the Heliolisk, Mousetrap can take those hits. Mousetrap can take those hits and Toxic It. Earthquake, Heliolisk. Gyro Ball, Gardevoir. So I'm happy. Shinsuke can switch in to any moves that Jirachi can really throw out. And we can hit a Blue Flare on Jirachi. I don't really want to switch Victini. I don't want to switch Victini, Cliffhanger, Skank. I don't really want to switch those three in on anything. I don't want to switch them in on anything at all. But if I have to, I'm going for Mousetrap. I'm going for Zolomon. Not Ariel. So if I have to switch somebody in, it's gonna be Mousetrap and Zolomon. But if he brings Crobat, I have to preserve Mousetrap, because Mousetrap can take that Brave Bird. Yeah, so what if he has Heat Wave? We're especially defensive. We can take the Heat Wave. I don't really care. So we really just need to preserve Mousetrap, Cliffhanger. We have to preserve all of our mons, really. But having Mousetrap there for the specially defensive hits is going to be useful. I'm not going to be switching in Victini a whole lot. I want him to come in on a safe switch. So we'll see what he can do. If I'm predicting Jirachi to use a Dazzling Gleam or something, Moonblast or something, then I'll switch Victini in on that so I can get that blue flare off. Cliffhanger can come in on, I don't really want to say a lot. I mean, like, if Crobat is going to use a Brave Bird, then I might be able to switch Flygon in on that Brave Bird, but I don't really want to do that. Seeing as how Cliffhanger can't really take a ton of moves. Yeah, so we're Choice Scarfed. We can hit an Outrage on the Crobat. That would be useful. That could potentially take the Crobat out. But we'll kind of see. We'll see. I'm mainly putting all my money on Bronzong to take all these special hits. But I don't want him to take too many hits. That's why we have Wish on Vaporeon. So if I am forced to allow Bronzong to take all these special hits, I can Wish Pass to Bronzong, so Bronzong could get all that HP back. But looking at these mons, like I mentioned, I don't want to switch Skank in on anything at all. Skank is not a mon to be switched into. We really need a safe switch for Skank, so I need to keep an eye out for that. Zolomon can take a Brave Bird. He can take a couple of moves. I have to see who he is going to bring. Once I see who Jerry Oak is going to bring, all my anxiety is going to be gone, and then I can see who is my least reliable mon, and I can kind of work about it then. But looking at this team, we have plenty of coverage. Like I mentioned, we have coverage for Suicune, we have coverage for Quagsire, we have coverage for Jirachi, Hitmontop, Crobat. We have coverage for Gardevoir. We have coverage for Heliolisk. We have coverage for anyone who he was going to bring. So looking at our team, it's going to put in a lot of work. I can already tell. I'm happy we're bringing this set right here. These 6 mons. This crew. So I'm just happy. I'm happy. Now, I do have some notes. I may have left a few things out, but I don't really want to bring up the notes. Well, let me actually do this real quick. We do have Lopunny, and I mentioned that it outspeeds everything. We have Drain Punch for Jirachi, Ice Punch for Crobat, Gliscor, Return and Fake Out. Victini switches into Jirachi, like I mentioned, but we do have to be careful for T-Wave, because Jirachi could pack the T-Wave, and Jirachi could T-Wave Victini, which we do not want at all. Thunder for Suicune, Psychic for him on top, Blue Flare for Rotom Mo in case he brings that. Energy Ball is for Quagsire, of course, and Energy Ball can pick off a weakened Suicune. Flygon actually speed ties with Jirachi if Jirachi is max speed. Choice Scarf to outspeed his faster mons, barring Scarfers. Now Zapdos switches into Jirachi, Crobat, Hitmontop, Scizor, and Gliscor. So that is what I was leaving out. That's what I was trying to think to tell you guys about Zolomon. Zolomon is a great mon to bring if he does bring Jirachi, Crobat, Hitmontop, Scizor, or Gliscor, because I can switch Zolomon in on one of those mons. Heat Wave is for Heliolisk, T-Bolt is for Suicune, HP Grass is for Quagsire. Now, Vaporeon can take most physical special hits. It does struggle with Crobat's Brave Bird, so that's why we have to kind of keep a lookout. But it can take one Specs T-Bolt from Heliolisk in full if we have a safe switch in. So that's why I was mentioning that Ariel can take a couple of hits, barring what they're bringing, really, and he has to have a safe switch in. So I think I'm going to get the hell out of here. I kind of explained my whole crew right here. But if you have any questions, then please, by all means, leave your questions down in the comments, because I will be answering any questions that you may have. I will be responding to any comments you may leave. If you want a chance to battle me, my information will be in my description below. Like I mentioned, I'm getting the hell out of here. If you guys enjoyed this video, then please leave a thumbs up. But I will catch all of you all on the flip side. Bye, guys.